Hello, beautiful world. I hope you are all doing well out there. It is just past the fall equinox, so it is late September. It's probably a little bit later when you're actually watching this, but I want to give you a little fall update here. First things first, blackberry season is, I guess you could say it's officially over, but not officially yet because these are the biggest blackberries I've ever seen. Look at that. I mean, massive. We put the chickens in here to clean up from this year's harvest. You can see they're kind of weeding. When we put their food in every day, we actually put it in here so they have to kind of pick through, and they'll continue to cycle some nutrients here. We will get these blackberries out of here when the time is right. But basically, this is our way of renovating this for the winter. So we'll soon come in, put some fresh compost, put some mulch, and actually, this is temporary, but we are introducing these new chickens. I don't know if you can see them to the existing hens. We had 50 broilers this year, and fortunately today was the last day of their life, but 6 of them are being integrated in. Oh, I know, we're gonna get you out of here. It's kind of like when you get a new pet and you want to train the pet to meet your other pets. So this is kind of their way of just getting to know each other, and we will soon incorporate them all. Now, we are just wrapping up. We do have some squash here, lots of varieties. Got the acorns popping. Can you see that? Yeah, acorns. Looks like there's 4 acorns there. A few butternut. So this is kind of a mixed annual and perennial bed. You can see here, this is a pawpaw tree. It did flower this year. So I think next year we'll get some fruits. These sunflowers are hanging on. This is kind of, yeah, when that weather first started getting a little crisp and start to realize summer's over, I think I was kind of like hanging my head like that. But things are still ripening. Things are still ripening. The raspberries are still coming in. And these raspberries have been, honestly, like such a blessing. Let's see if I can get a focus there. And these are probably on their last week. Little taste of summer here. We're going to expand the berry patch because there's not much better than these fresh berries. I like to have the raspberries that are like darker. Like, see that? Oh my gosh. I'm going to see if I can focus that for y'all. It's literally falling off. Oh, now, on commercial berries, they're not going to wait to harvest it until it gets to this because you can't transport it. No teeth. It's so soft. It tastes like a jam. It's honestly remarkable. I think you pick raspberries are a really awesome opportunity because you get to meet the berries when they're really their perfect ripeness. And some would say that that's too soft, but the sweetness is basically unparalleled. They just fall right off. We just had the chickens in here. I think this is a good opportunity for some elderberry. It's a little bit of a wet spot. Um, so yeah, that's a little update from the berry patch. You can see that the currants are long gone. Some remnants left here in case the birds still are interested in those. But I want to take y'all into the fruit orchard. If you've seen some of the other videos I've shared on this channel, I've been kind of checking in with the orchard throughout the season, and we're just wrapping up. We had a pretty epic peach harvest, and now it's just down to apples and pears. And I want to show y'all this kind of interesting polyculture that was not planned at all. But here we have an apple tree, and that's occupying the upper canopy. And then, sort of in the lower canopy, is look at that beautiful flower, Jerusalem artichoke. It's also called sunchoke. And I have this thing where if I see a food that I have never had before, I have to buy it. And so a couple years ago, I found these, and you eat the tuber, the root. Kind of looks like turmeric or ginger. And I baked them in the oven. It was like the skin of the root was like crispy. The inside was like mushy, like a potato. It was like a better potato. I was freaking out. Just walking through some spider webs. I was freaking out. I texted my family group chat. Oh my, like, have you ever had Jerusalem artichoke? It's like my new favorite food. And my brother said, slow down. They are known to upset your stomach here. And let's just say it wasn't a fun night. There were many trips to the bathroom. I stopped eating them right when Jamie said that, but thank goodness I didn't continue because I would have eaten them all. I literally was like, this is my new favorite food. Where has this been all my life? And I think next time I want to boil them and really cook them through. But pretty awesome with the Jerusalem artichoke, looking very happy with the with the apples. So here, this peach tree is retired for the year. The elderberries are retired for the year. Still see some remnants on. I thought it was a prolific harvest. Steve, one of the farmers I work with, said that it was moderately good. So I'm absolutely so excited by the elderberry plant. You have the flowers, the fruits, super easy to propagate. You literally just cut off a branch and you can stick it in the ground. It's unbelievable. Um, Elderberry is really called the caretaker because it's super good for your immune system. If you feel a cold coming on, we have a medicinal tincture. You just throw a couple droppers in your mouth. Unbelievable. You might be wondering, what is this white on the tree? That is actually clay that we spray. It's a way to protect the trees from the pests. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of things you still can spray on your trees that are technically organic. Um, Here we are hanging on. If you're not familiar with this friend, this is called seaberry or sea buckthorn, and it is almost like a citrusy. Ooh, strong, very strong, packed with vitamin C. This thing puts oranges to shame. And this is actually one of the most resilient plants I've ever met. And it's got some thorns, so be careful. But I think this is actually a really good alternative to citrus. If you cook a lot like me, you're probably upset that you can't have like lemons and limes here in the temperate climate. But I think there's an opportunity there with sea berry to have a local citrus. And the last fruit I will show you in our orchard today is the Asian pear. Talk about fruits I'm excited about. It is not as picky as growing an apple tree. Like growing apple trees are tough, I'm learning. And this type of pear, I like it because it's very straightforward. Some pears I'm like, is this supposed to be crunchy? Is this supposed to be soft? And this pear is not messing around. It's like, no, we are crunchy, okay? We're not even trying to be soft. And it's a delicious crunch. And I mean, look at all the fruit on here. It's got to be between these three, just these three. I mean, we had to put this post here just to hold up this branch. And what you can do is if you're getting this many fruit, you can go a little bit earlier and thin it out a little bit. We did that with some of our peaches this year. It really like crushes my soul to be removing fruit from the tree after they've already been set, but it allows the tree to focus its energy and really, apply that energy to the existing fruits. But now we enter the woods here, and you can see it is fall, my friends. That's so. This farm, it's 10 acres of fields and 10 acres of woods. And basically, we're practicing silvopasture here. And there's two types of silvopasture. There is silvopasture by addition and silvopasture by subtraction. Now, if you're not familiar with silvopasture, it's the intentional keeping of trees in with your grazing pastures. Number one reason farmers will plant trees in their pasture is for shade and shelter. Hot day, animals get stressed just like we do, so it's really good for them to have shade. But what we're really focused on here, in addition to the shade and shelter, is animal fodder. So believe it or not, you can actually grow animal feed on trees. And we are actually doing some test trials right now to see, for example, willow is a great tree type for sheep. The tannins in the willow is actually medicine for the sheep. We're working on a willow bark tincture for humans as well. Super medicinal plant. It's an early pioneer species and actually helps a pasture area return to a woodland. So you can see all of these stakes in here. This is all experimental test planting. This is a fence to keep the deer out, but we have 14 varieties of willow planted here. And basically what we're doing is we plant them in different ways. Some we just dug a hole, planted them. Some we trenched out, piled, like mounded up, planted in that. And we're seeing, based on the planting strategy and the variety, which trees grow fast enough to be out of deer browse height. Here in the Northeast United States, there's a lot of deer pressure. These deer are hungry and they could kill a young tree just by nibbling on it. So what we're trying to see is how fast does that main trunk grow, so when it leaves out, its leaves are above what a deer can get to, so the tree can withstand basically the deer pressure. And I think there's a big opportunity to plant big strips of willow, poplar, of these different trees to feed to animals. So speaking of trees, we're here in the tree nursery. We're getting ready for some fall tree planting. So you can see we have all of these trees. This is like dozens of trees. They're actually what's called heeled in. So we've received the trees from our amazing nursery partners, and you can see that's a bundle of a bunch of trees. And basically, we've mounded the soil up, and we keep this wet. So you do have to water this. But we have some mulberry, tulip poplar, river locust, and I love the mulberry leaves. But what's interesting is the newer leaves, they take a little bit to actually express their shape. And look at the older leaves. They're like totally mulberried up. So yeah, here are our air prune beds. This is really great for growing, especially nut trees um, that have a long taproot. And you can see there's actually a space below there that allows air to get in. And these trees, this is chestnuts in here. This one's caged because the squirrels will actually go out and dig the nut out. We're not as worried here with the willows. Um, but the roots will grow down, and then once they hit that air, they'll realize, oh, I can't grow here, and they'll self prune themselves, and all that energy, instead of going into like a spindly long root, it'll go more into like a central root, which will make these trees basically more resilient and have a stronger root system ready to be transplanted into their final home. So this is actually, we're doing some research here. I won't get into that today, but basically we're seeing if we can cultivate biology to inoculate the soil with, to actually see if we can have these trees grow. I mean, look at these leaves. When I first arrived at the farm, I remember, and you see this mentioned in my Substack post, my first 3 days on a regenerative farm. First task I did was sweep crunchy maple leaves off the ground of this mushroom laying yard. And it's pretty wild because now I'm back sweeping up these leaves. And yeah, here's some shiitake mushrooms on some gray birch. And it's just absolutely beautiful in here right now. Here we are soaking the shiitake logs here at the end of this season. We'll soak them until it gets into the probably 50s. Maybe we can push it into the 40s a bit. But the soaking basically mimics a strong rainstorm, which will encourage the shiitake to fruit in like a more major fruiting event, as opposed to just like a mushroom here and there that you might find on the forest floor. So it is a pretty exciting time here. I am so grateful to have been on this farm when these trees had no leaves. And then I got to see it all open up. And now these trees are putting on their best outfits before they go to sleep. It's almost like big graduation day. You know, they're putting on their tuxes, they're putting on their flashy clothes, and soon they will rest. And I'll finish with this thought. So I feel like I was kind of eager for fall. I was like a little bit burnt out from all the summer activity, the summer work, the celebrations, the chaos in the world, the political environment. And I was kind of like itching for fall. I started to see these leaves changing, and I was like, roots, roots, the trees are putting their energy in the roots. It's time for rest, for roots. And I was at this gathering, and the icebreaker prompt was, what's ripening for you right now? And I'm so grateful to have heard that prompt because I think I was kind of pushing it a little bit. What I realized is, wow, I actually do need some rest right now. But also, what I realized is I need to be present because I can still find times of rest, even though it's not winter just yet. And also, I don't need to be getting ahead of myself. There are a lot of things still ripening. And, I think my question for today is, what else is ripening in my life? What's ripening in your life? Um, what does it mean for you to start putting your energy into your roots? And I continue to slow down to experience the beauty You might be wondering what these lines are. This is for maple syrup. We're in a big stand of maple trees. So as you can see, there are so many different things happening on this farm. And I think if there's one thing we can count on, it's extreme weather. And having a diversified approach to farming and land stewardship is the most resilient thing we can do during this time. And yeah, it's just so beautiful. You can hear the birds. I thought I'd be working more with like headphones on, but when I get here, I want to experience a little squirrel. It's a good time of year to be a squirrel. They're going wild right now. It's like they're late, they're behind. But yeah, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope you're finding some time to slow down, spend some time with people you love, call an old friend, cook yourself a nourishing meal. And yeah, I will probably share a couple more videos here before we wrap up for the season and tuck all these plants away. But yeah, send in love, and we'll see you in the soil. Peace.